Do you think codependency only happens to people with an anxious attachment style? Think again. All attachment styles, yes, even avoidance, can fall into codependent patterns. And if you don't know how this shows up in your relationships, you might miss the signs and step into an unhealthy dynamic you don't want to continue. Hi. I'm Rose Viggiano, Master Level Relationship Coach, Attachment Specialist, and creator of the Awakening Relationships community. My membership focused on helping you heal your attachment style and build the secure relationships you want and need. I've seen the same story over and over. People stuck in unhealthy relationship patterns they can't explain. And often the answer lies in the connection between their attachment style and codependency. In this video, I'm breaking it all down. What codependency is and isn't, how anxious, avoidant, and disorganized attachment styles can fall into codependent behaviors, and how to start breaking the patterns. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about what codependency really is, because it's often misunderstood. Codependency isn't just about being overly caring or supportive in a relationship. It's about losing your sense of self in the process. It's the way we learned to act and react in relationships, usually long ago, in response to less than nurturing or even abusive experiences in childhood. These codependent patterns rule how we relate to ourselves and others, often making it really hard to build healthy, balanced relationships. For many of us, codependency tends to show up in one or more of 5 key ways. We struggle with healthy self-esteem and instead tend to feel either better than or less than others. We have difficulty maintaining healthy boundaries. Either our boundaries are too loose or they're too rigid. We have trouble hearing our own voice, and even when we do hear it, it's hard to actually express it. We neglect our own needs, sometimes not even knowing what they are, and we swing to extremes, either acting impulsively and letting our emotions run wild, or we try to control everything, often trying to be perfect to manage others' feelings, fix their problems, or avoid conflict. Here's what this can look like in real life. You bail out a family member with a history of overspending, even though it's putting your own finances at risk. Or you hold back your true thoughts and feelings to avoid upsetting your partner, focusing more on managing their emotions than sharing your own truth. Now, let's get clear on what codependency isn't. Wanting emotional support during a tough time or offering it, that's just being human. Making compromises to meet your partner's needs, that's a key part of any healthy, secure relationship. The real question is, are you sacrificing yourself for others? Are you able to speak your truth? And do your actions come from a balanced place or from a need to please, control, or avoid conflict? In secure relationships, both people retain their sense of self while also supporting each other. There's a mutual respect, open communication, and shared decision making. Not so much when codependency is present. Now let's break down how codependency may look with each attachment style and ways to start healing. Let's start with anxious attachment, because this is the style most people associate with codependency. If you have an anxious attachment style, you crave closeness and connection, but you also fear that love and security could disappear at any moment. That fear drives you to focus almost entirely on your partner, constantly watching them for any subtle changes and signs they don't love you anymore. Some ways codependency might show up for you is you overgive your time, attention, and resources in a relationship to your own detriment. Here are some examples you might relate to. You cancel plans with friends because your partner is in a bad mood. Since you take on the role of caretaker, you feel responsible for solving their problems and regulating their emotions. Or your sense of well-being is completely tied to getting reassurance from your partner. You might send text after text if they don't respond right away, or repeatedly ask, "Do you love me? Are you going to leave? You're here now, but when are you going to go?" You can't calm down until they give you the reassurance you're looking for. Or the dynamic flips. You go from feeling dependent and clingy to feeling resentful and critical. You think, why am I doing all this when they aren't even giving me what I need? And this leads to demanding, critical, and even rageful behavior towards them. These are all signs of poor boundaries, neglecting your own needs, and having your healthy self-esteem tied to what others think of you or what you can do for them instead of coming from within. Do you identify with any of these traits? If so, drop anxious in the comments. Before we dive into avoidant attachment, I want to talk to those of you who are ready to start changing these patterns. Consistent change is hard, especially on your own. And working one-to-one with a professional can feel overwhelming for some of us and also be out of reach financially. That's why I created the Awakening Relationships community. It's an intimate space where you work on healing insecure attachment patterns, including codependency, and learn the nuts and bolts of how to build secure relationships, both with others and with yourself. In the community, you have access to hours of game-changing video content that guide you on a specific path towards secure attachment, and time to work with me directly in small group settings. In the Awakening Relationships community, you'll not only learn tools to shift these patterns, but also connect with a supportive group of people that get it. Enrollment only opens a few times a year, so join the waitlist now and lock in the best price and access to exclusive perks. Check the link below for details. I'd love to see you there. Now let's talk about avoidant attachment. On the surface, it might seem like the opposite of codependency, right? Because avoidant folks value independence and self-reliance. Those traits seem a million miles away from the overgiving, people-pleasing behaviors we usually associate with codependency. But here's the twist. Avoidance can absolutely fall into codependent patterns. They just show up in different ways. As an avoidant, you struggle with healthy self-esteem. Your self-esteem is performance-based. Did you succeed? Did you get it right? Could you manage entirely on your own? You also often say yes when you really mean no to avoid conflict, which means you don't express your needs and what is really true for you. And then you will likely withdraw and disengage emotionally so you don't have to feel the pain of getting things wrong for others, especially a partner, which is your version of extreme anti-relational behaviors. Let's say your partner invites you on a weekend trip with friends. Deep down, you know you'd rather stay home. You've been working really hard overtime and you need to recharge, but you agree to go anyway. Why? To avoid conflict or the emotional confrontation that will happen with your partner. On the surface, this looks like you're being a good partner, cooperative, supportive, right? But inside, resentment starts to build. You didn't want to go, but instead of sharing your feelings directly, you just said yes. You abandon your own needs. Now, in reaction, you shut down or withdraw emotionally. Perhaps you even go silent. That's what I call passive compliance. Avoidance might agree to something like attending a family gathering or spending more quality time together, but their heart isn't in it. So they stay emotionally disengaged. And guess who ends up doing all the relational work? Their partner. Over time, that imbalance leaves their partner feeling drained and like they're the only one holding the relationship together. Another avoidant codependent pattern is emotional detachment. As an avoidant, you often withhold your feelings. You may not even know you have them or what they are. This emotional shutdown may have served you well in the past, but won't in a close adult relationship. Emotional detachment is part of a codependent negative cycle. The avoidant thinks they feel safe because they've kept their distance, but the partner is left working overtime for emotional connection. The partner chases the connection and the avoidant withdraws more. Over time, neither person's emotional needs get fully met and the relationship stays stuck. Does that sound familiar? If it does, hang tight because we're going to break down how to start shifting these patterns. But first, let's explore how codependency shows up with disorganized or fearful avoidant attachment. Disorganized attachment blends the extremes of anxious and avoidant styles. This creates chaotic patterns in their relationships. Imagine craving closeness one moment and running from it the next. Exhausting, right? Disorganized attachment often comes from childhood experiences where caregivers were both a source of comfort and fear. Maybe one day they were nurturing, and the next emotionally unpredictable or even harmful. As an adult, that creates a deep inner conflict. You want intimacy, but you're terrified of it. While disorganized attachment is considered the least common of the 4 styles, many of us have at least a pocket of it. If you have disorganized attachment, it's likely you struggle with all 5 parts of codependency: healthy self-esteem, difficulty maintaining healthy boundaries, trouble hearing your own voice, neglecting your own needs, and avoiding extreme behavior. Let's take the example of extreme behavior. One day, you're all in. You're planning romantic dates, sending loving texts, maybe even talking about the future. You're considerate to all your partner's needs, showing up like the perfect partner. But as soon as the connection feels too close, in comes the fear. You cancel plans, you start a fight, you explode, then you shut down and pull away. Your partner may be left wondering, what just happened? Disorganized attachment creates a storm of emotional instability for both people in the relationship. But here's the good news. It's possible to shift these patterns and find balance. Let's go into where to start. And first, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit the button right now. Breaking codependency for insecure attachment styles starts with self-awareness. You can't change what you can't see. Ask yourself, am I overgiving or suppressing my needs to keep a relationship alive? Am I saying yes when I really mean no? Do I create chaos as a way to stay connected? Write down and reflect on these questions and what you've learned today. Notice where these patterns might be showing up for you. Are there certain situations or people that trigger your codependency? Next, learn more about how attachment influences your behaviors and patterns in relationships. If you're not sure which attachment style you have, take my mini quiz. I'll drop it in the description below. Once you start learning more about yourself and your attachment style, practice setting small boundaries. Say no to something small and notice how it feels. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about making space for your needs too. Then build your healthy self-esteem. Codependency thrives when your worth is tied to how much you give. Know that you are equally valuable to anyone else. No human is fundamentally better or worse than another. Learn what fills you up, whether it's hobbies, movement, close friends, or quiet moments alone. The more you nurture yourself, the stronger your sense of self will become. Breaking codependent patterns takes time, but every small step matters. You can create secure, balanced relationships, ones where you stay connected to yourself while building healthy connections with others. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and if you're ready to dive deeper, join the waitlist for the Awakening Relationships community. I'd love to support you and work through these patterns together. And remember, what we can't do alone, we can do together. See you soon.